Imagine this. It's 30 years from now. You look back on your life and feel an overwhelming sense of pride, knowing you lived with strength, purpose, and clarity. You faced every challenge, embraced every opportunity, and built a life that truly mattered. Now, what if I told you that the next 30 years could be shaped right now by the choices you make and the lessons you embrace? These 100 Stoic life lessons hold the power to transform you for good. They are the timeless wisdom of ancient philosophers who faced hardships we can barely imagine, war, loss, failure, yet found the strength to not only endure but thrive. These lessons aren't just theories, they are practical tools to overcome fear, build unshakable resilience, and create a life of purpose and meaning. What will you do when life gets hard, when chaos strikes, or when you feel lost? Will you crumble, or will you rise? This guide will prepare you for whatever the next 30 years may hold. Each lesson is a stepping stone to becoming the strongest, calmest, and wisest version of yourself. These aren't just ideas, they're blueprints for action. Once you apply them, you'll see the change in how you think, act, and live. By the end, you won't just hope for a better life, you'll know how to create it. Are you ready to take control of your future? Let's begin. 1. Don't overestimate yourself, but don't underestimate who you could be. There's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. To live a life of true success and wisdom, you must recognize your limitations while holding a bold vision for your potential. Many people overestimate their current abilities. They think they've arrived, that they don't need to grow, or that the world owes them something. This overconfidence blinds them to opportunities, weaknesses, and blind spots. On the other hand, others underestimate their capacity for growth. They assume their flaws are fixed, their dreams are unattainable, and they remain stuck in mediocrity. This mindset kills ambition before it even has a chance to bloom. The Stoics teach us to accept reality as it is, but not as a permanent ceiling. Look at yourself honestly. Where are you strong, and where do you lack? Accept the truth about who you are today, without shame, pride, or delusion. But from there, envision who you could become. What would your life look like if you pursued your potential without fear? What would happen if you made discipline, courage, and wisdom your guides? Don't let your present limit your future. The Stoics believed in striving for virtue, the highest version of yourself. Even if you never reach perfection, life isn't about being flawless. It's about becoming a little better each day. Start with humility, add determination, and build a vision that stretches beyond what you think is possible. 2. Adopt responsibility to find meaning. In a world filled with distractions and shallow pleasures, it's easy to believe that happiness comes from doing whatever you want. But as the Stoics understood, a meaningful life is not built on selfish indulgence. It's built on responsibility. The moment you take ownership of your actions, choices, and obligations, you unlock a deeper sense of fulfillment than fleeting pleasures could ever offer. Responsibility begins with yourself. Are you taking care of your mind, body, and emotions? Are you showing up for the people who depend on you, your family, friends, and community? Avoid blaming others for your circumstances. Life might not be fair, but the Stoics remind us that we are responsible for how we respond. Taking on responsibility gives your life direction and purpose. It demands effort, sacrifice, and courage, but it also rewards you with pride, growth, and meaning. Imagine 2 lives, one where you avoid all responsibilities, drifting aimlessly, and one where you rise to challenges, carry your burdens with strength, and leave the world better than you found it? Which life feels more noble, more fulfilling? True meaning comes when you decide to lift the heaviest load you can carry, not because you have to, but because you choose to. Responsibility transforms chaos into order and reveals your hidden strength. Own your life and watch how your sense of purpose grows. 3. Set goals that balance today and tomorrow. The Stoics often emphasized living in the present moment, but they also recognized the importance of planning for the future. A meaningful life requires balance. You must be rooted in today while keeping an eye on tomorrow. Too often, people get stuck in one extreme. Some sacrifice everything in the present for a distant someday that may never come. Others waste today, drifting aimlessly without considering how their actions will affect their future. Your goals should honor both. Ask yourself, what matters to me right now, and what matters in the long run? Break your goals into immediate actions while staying committed to your broader vision. For example, if you want financial freedom in 10 years, what steps can you take today? Saving a small amount, avoiding unnecessary spending, or learning new skills might not feel monumental, but they add up. At the same time, don't lose the joy of today by becoming a slave to your plans. Enjoy the journey. The Stoics remind us that control lies in the present moment. What you do now determines your future. A day spent meaningfully, no matter how small the steps, brings you closer to your vision. Live intentionally. Set goals that make today worthwhile and pave the way for a future you can be proud of. 4. Transformation requires sacrifice. The life you want requires letting go of the life you currently live. Transformation demands sacrifice of old habits, toxic relationships, and outdated ways of thinking. The Stoics understood this deeply. You cannot grow while clinging to comfort. Ask yourself, what are you willing to give up to become who you want to be? The price of transformation often involves discomfort. Maybe it's the comfort of scrolling through your phone instead of building a new skill. Maybe it's the safety of mediocre friendships that hold you back. Or perhaps it's the temporary pleasure of bad habits that keep you stagnant. Sacrifice feels like loss in the moment, but it is an investment in your future self. Imagine shedding the weight of everything that no longer serves you. What could you achieve without those burdens? The Stoics believed in the discipline of letting go to gain something greater. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Growth often means facing ridicule, failure, and discomfort. The question is not whether you'll sacrifice. Life demands it either way. The real question is whether you'll sacrifice for something meaningful. Let go of who you were, and you'll make space for who you're meant to become. 5. Incremental improvement is key. Too many people abandon growth because they expect instant results. The Stoics knew that real change doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of small, consistent actions taken over time. If you want to achieve something great, whether it's mastering a skill, transforming your mindset, or building a fulfilling life, focus on incremental improvement. Each day offers a chance to be slightly better than yesterday. Maybe you read a few pages of a book, commit to 5 minutes of exercise, or speak a little more honestly. These steps might feel insignificant, but they compound like interest. One small habit, repeated over weeks, months, and years, can transform your entire life. Avoid the trap of perfectionism. It will paralyze you before you even begin. The Stoics remind us to focus on progress, not perfection. Seneca said, "It is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness." Be patient with yourself and trust the process. The greatest achievements are built one small step at a time. Ask yourself, how can I be 1% better today? Improvement isn't flashy, it's steady, quiet, and deliberate. But over time, it becomes unstoppable. Small wins add up to big victories, and before you know it, you'll be standing on a mountain you once thought was impossible to climb. 6. Learn to confront challenges. Head on. Challenges are unavoidable. They appear in your relationships, career, health, and even in your own mind. The Stoics teach us that running from challenges only magnifies them, while facing them directly is the path to strength and resilience. Every time you avoid a difficult conversation, task, or decision, it grows heavier and harder to overcome. You begin to feel trapped, not by the challenge itself, but by your avoidance of it. To confront challenges head-on, break them into manageable steps. If a problem feels overwhelming, tackle one small piece at a time. The Stoics remind us that control lies not in the outcome, but in the effort we put forth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." What if, instead of fearing your challenges, you viewed them as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient? Each challenge you overcome builds your confidence and prepares you for the next. You prove to yourself that you are capable of facing adversity. Start today. Identify one challenge you've been avoiding and take the first step toward resolving it. Facing life head-on transforms obstacles into stepping stones. 7. Discipline leads to freedom. Most people believe discipline is a prison, a set of rules that restrict your freedom. But the truth is, discipline creates freedom. The Stoics understood that without discipline, you become a slave to your impulses, habits, and weaknesses. The person who lacks discipline cannot achieve their goals because they're constantly pulled in different directions by distractions and fleeting pleasures. Imagine two lives. In one, you wake up whenever you feel like it, eat whatever you crave, and avoid the hard work necessary to improve yourself. At first, this feels like freedom, but soon you're drowning in chaos, regret, and stagnation. In the other life, you set a schedule, stick to healthy habits, and commit to personal growth. At first, this feels difficult, but over time, it creates the freedom to build the life you want. Seneca said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Discipline is self-mastery. When you discipline your time, you gain freedom from wasted hours. When you discipline your finances, you gain freedom from debt. When you discipline your mind and body, you gain the strength to pursue meaningful goals. True freedom lies in choosing long-term purpose over short-term comfort. 8. The world needs your unique contribution. You are not here by accident. The Stoics believed that every person has a role to play in the greater order of the universe. Your strengths, experiences, and perspectives are unique, and the world benefits when you bring them forward. Too many people shrink back, convinced that they don't matter or that someone else will step up in their place. But no one else can contribute exactly what you can. Think about it. What are your unique gifts? What comes naturally to you that others struggle with? What skills have you developed, and how can you use them to improve your corner of the world? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is your vocation? To be a good person." Your unique contribution doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It simply needs to make a difference where it matters. The Stoics remind us that living for yourself alone is hollow. Real fulfillment comes from contributing to something larger than yourself. Whether it's through your work, your relationships, or your creative endeavors, your gifts are needed. Don't hold back out of fear or self-doubt. The world is waiting for what only you can offer. Step up and give it. 9. Overcome resentment by taking action. Resentment is like poison. It builds up slowly, fueled by anger, disappointment, and a sense of injustice. You may feel resentful toward someone who wronged you, toward your circumstances, or even toward yourself. The Stoics understood that resentment is not only destructive, it's also a sign that something needs to change. To overcome resentment, take action. First, examine the source of your resentment honestly. Are you angry because someone mistreated you? If so, set boundaries and confront the issue directly. Or are you resentful because of your own inaction, because you haven't lived up to your potential or taken control of your situation? In that case, resentment becomes a call to grow, change, and assert yourself. Seneca said, "A setback has often cleared the way for greater prosperity. Instead of letting resentment fester, channel that energy into action. Use it as fuel to improve your life. If someone disrespected you, prove your worth by becoming stronger, not by sinking into bitterness. If you're dissatisfied with where you are, take the first step toward change. Resentment is powerless when you take responsibility for your life. Let go of the past, take action in the present, and build a future you're proud of." 10. Avoid the trap of comparisons. Comparison is one of the greatest thieves of joy and contentment. In the age of social media, it's easier than ever to compare your life to others, what they have, what they achieve, and how they appear. But the Stoics teach us that comparison is an illusion. It distracts you from your own path and leaves you feeling inadequate, even if you're doing well. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not waste the rest of your life in speculating about others. Instead, focus on the task at hand. The task at hand is your life. You have a unique journey, and comparing it to someone else's is pointless because you don't know their struggles, sacrifices, or reality. Focus on your progress. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to someone else today. Ask yourself, are you living up to your own potential? Are you moving toward goals that matter to you? The only comparison that matters is between your current self and the person you're striving to become. Remember, someone else's success doesn't diminish your own. Instead of envying others, learn from them. Let their achievements inspire you, but don't let them define you. Stay focused on your path, celebrate your progress, and trust that your unique journey is unfolding exactly as it should. 11. Face suffering. Voluntarily to develop strength. Suffering is inevitable, but how you respond to it determines who you become. The Stoics believed that life's hardships should not be avoided, but embraced voluntarily. When you face suffering willingly, you transform pain into a source of growth, wisdom, and resilience. By contrast, avoiding suffering only makes it grow in power, casting a shadow over your life. Epictetus taught, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them." This means suffering itself doesn't destroy you. Your attitude toward it does. You can choose to see suffering as a curse or as an opportunity to develop strength. Voluntarily enduring discomfort, whether it's pushing through a hard workout, having a difficult conversation, or sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term success, teaches you that you are stronger than you think. Why face suffering willingly? Because doing so prepares you for the inevitable challenges life will throw at you. When you build resilience on purpose, life's unexpected hardships become easier to manage. Instead of being overwhelmed, you say, "I've been here before. I know I can handle this." Start small. Choose a challenge you've been avoiding and lean into it. Whether it's physical, emotional, or mental discomfort, each time you face suffering voluntarily, you forge an unshakable strength that no circumstance can take from you. 12. Aim to turn chaos into opportunity. Chaos is part of life. It shows up as uncertainty, unexpected changes, or problems you didn't see coming. Most people fear chaos, viewing it as a threat to their comfort and control. But the Stoics teach us that chaos, when approached correctly, is full of opportunity. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that every problem contains the seeds of its own solution, if you're willing to look for them. Instead of fighting chaos or running from it, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this situation make me better? Chaos forces you to think creatively, adapt to change, and find new ways forward. Think about the moments in your life when you grew the most. Were they times of comfort, or were they moments when chaos disrupted your plans and forced you to rise to the occasion? Every crisis has two paths. You can let it defeat you, or you can use it as an opportunity to improve, to adapt, and to find clarity. The next time chaos strikes, don't panic. Pause, breathe, and look for the opportunity it holds. By turning chaos into growth, you transform life's unpredictability into your greatest ally. 13. Take care of yourself ethically. Taking care of yourself doesn't mean indulging every desire or chasing comfort. It means treating yourself as someone you are responsible for helping. The Stoics understood that to be strong, capable, and of service to the world, you must first take responsibility for your own well-being, physically, mentally, and morally. Epictetus taught, "No man can do right for another who does not do right for himself. If you neglect your health, your mind, or your integrity, you weaken yourself and those who depend on you." Self-care isn't selfish. It's the foundation that allows you to show up fully for your family, community, and goals. Start with your habits. Take care of your body through proper nutrition, rest, and exercise. Sharpen your mind by reading, learning, and reflecting. Nurture your moral character by living in alignment with your values. Be honest with yourself about your weaknesses and commit to improving them. Think of yourself as a garden that requires constant care. If you neglect it, weeds of bad habits, chaos, and regret will take over. When you care for yourself ethically and responsibly, you build a life of strength, balance, and integrity. From that foundation, you can face any challenge and contribute to the world meaningfully. 14. Your potential awakens. When you face challenges, you don't discover your potential by staying comfortable. It reveals itself when you face challenges that stretch you beyond your limits. The Stoics believed that adversity is not an enemy. It's the key that unlocks your hidden strength, abilities, and character. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Without resistance, your muscles atrophy. The same is true of your mind, your willpower, and your character. Challenges force you to dig deeper, to uncover skills and determination you didn't know you had. When you take on hard tasks, you grow stronger and wiser, and your confidence expands. Think about a time you faced a major challenge. Perhaps it was a tough project, a health scare, or a personal failure. At the time, it felt overwhelming, but when you came through it, you realized you were capable of far more than you thought. Challenges reveal your resilience. They wake up the sleeping giant inside of you. Instead of avoiding difficulty, seek it out. Set goals that challenge you, take on tasks that stretch you, and face obstacles with courage. Every time you rise to meet a challenge, you unleash more of your potential. Your future self is waiting. Go meet it. 15. Precision in speech and action clarifies goals. Clarity is power. When you speak and act with precision, you eliminate confusion, reduce wasted effort, and bring your goals into sharp focus. The Stoics believed that precision, both in thought and in action, is essential for living a meaningful and effective life. Marcus Aurelius said, "Never be overheard complaining, even to yourself. Complaints are imprecise. They waste energy and blur the real problem. Instead of saying, 'I'm unhappy,' ask yourself, 'What specifically is making me unhappy and what can I do about it?' Precision turns vague emotions and problems into clear, actionable solutions. The same applies to your goals. If you say, 'I want to be successful,' that's too broad. What does success mean to you? What actions will move you closer to it? When you clearly define what you want and what steps you must take, your mind becomes laser-focused on achieving it. Practice precision daily. Speak truthfully. Say only what is necessary, and avoid exaggeration or vagueness. When making decisions, be clear about your intentions and desired outcomes. Precision simplifies life. It cuts through chaos and uncertainty, leaving you with a clear path forward. By mastering precision in speech and action, you clarify your goals, align your actions with purpose, and move through life with power and focus. 16. Life requires balance between order and chaos. Life is a delicate dance between order and chaos. Too much order, where everything is rigid and predictable, stifles growth and creativity. On the other hand, too much chaos, where nothing is certain, leads to stress, confusion, and overwhelm. The Stoics understood that true wisdom lies in balancing the two. Order gives you structure, stability, and discipline. It's the foundation you need to build a productive, meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius lived this principle, relying on a disciplined daily routine to manage his duties as emperor and remain grounded in chaos. However, he also knew that chaos is unavoidable. It arrives as unexpected changes, failures, or challenges that shake your sense of control. Rather than resisting chaos, embrace it as an opportunity to adapt and grow. When life feels chaotic, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I impose order on this situation? By combining a solid foundation, order, with a willingness to face the unknown, chaos, you develop resilience and flexibility. Strive to live on the thin line between order and chaos. Create routines to structure your life, but be open to uncertainty and challenge. The balance will keep you grounded yet growing, structured yet adaptable, a Stoic master of life's unpredictability. 17. Act as a role model during crisis. True character is revealed in a crisis. When chaos strikes, most people panic, freeze, or crumble under the pressure. But a Stoic steps forward, calm and steady, to lead by example. They become the role model others look to when everything seems lost. Epictetus said, Difficulties show what men are. In moments of crisis, whether it's a personal tragedy, workplace conflict, or global uncertainty, you have a choice. You can succumb to fear and anger, or you can choose to act with courage, composure, and clarity. Your actions during a crisis set a standard for those around you. Being a role model doesn't mean pretending to have all the answers. It means staying calm, taking responsibility, and focusing on solutions rather than problems. It means asking, how can I bring stability to this situation? How can I inspire others to rise above the chaos? Crisis is inevitable, but how you respond defines you. When you act as a role model, you not only strengthen yourself, you inspire others to be their best as well. In a world full of uncertainty, the person who remains calm, responsible, and virtuous is the person who changes lives. 18. Find meaning through responsibility, not hedonism. Hedonism, the endless pursuit of pleasure, leads to a shallow, unfulfilled life. The Stoics taught that true meaning comes not from indulgence, but from responsibility. By taking responsibility for yourself, your family, and your community, you build a life of purpose and fulfillment. Seneca observed, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." Hedonism promises happiness, but it quickly becomes an empty chase. Pleasure fades, leaving you dissatisfied and wanting more. Responsibility, on the other hand, creates lasting meaning. When you take responsibility, you become someone others can rely on, someone who builds instead of consumes. Start by identifying the areas of your life where you can take more responsibility. Maybe it's your health, your relationships, or your career. Instead of seeking comfort, ask yourself, what can I contribute? How can I make this better? Taking responsibility may feel heavy at first, but it brings pride, purpose, and strength. Reject the empty promises of hedonism. Pleasure is fleeting, but the impact of responsibility lasts a lifetime. By taking responsibility, you transform yourself and the world around you, creating a life of meaning that no indulgence could ever provide. 19. Your suffering can have purpose. Life's suffering is unavoidable. Illness, loss, failure, and hardship will come for all of us. But the Stoics believed that suffering doesn't have to be meaningless. When you face it with courage and purpose, suffering becomes a tool for growth, wisdom, and transformation. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path." Instead of resenting suffering, view it as a challenge, a chance to prove your strength, develop resilience, and find a deeper understanding of yourself. Every moment of suffering carries a lesson, whether it's patience, humility, or perseverance. To give suffering purpose, ask yourself, what can this hardship teach me? How can I grow through this? Maybe a loss teaches you gratitude, a failure teaches you persistence, a painful experience humbles you and connects you to others who are suffering, deepening your compassion. Your suffering becomes meaningful when you use it to become better. Rather than cursing hardship, see it as a teacher. Life will test you, but those tests reveal your potential. Purpose transforms suffering into a source of strength, making you unshakable in the face of life's storms. 20. Surround yourself with supportive people. The people you surround yourself with shape your mindset, your habits, and ultimately, your life. The Stoics understood the importance of choosing your companions wisely. Seneca advised, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." Supportive people inspire you, challenge you, and push you to grow. They celebrate your victories and help you navigate failures. In contrast, toxic or complacent relationships drag you down. People who thrive on negativity, gossip, or aimlessness will infect your own mindset and slow your progress. Take a hard look at your relationships. Do the people in your life encourage your growth or enable your weaknesses? Surround yourself with those who embody the values you aspire to. People who are disciplined, courageous, kind, and focused on purpose. Likewise, be a supportive person yourself. Encourage others to pursue their potential and hold them accountable to their best selves. Strong relationships create a foundation of strength and resilience. When life's challenges come, you'll have people who lift you up and remind you of your purpose. Build your circle with intention, and you'll find that supportive people are the greatest asset in your journey toward a meaningful, fulfilled life. 21. Embrace the unknown for transformation. The unknown is intimidating, but it is also where growth begins. The Stoics taught that avoiding uncertainty keeps you stuck in stagnation, while embracing the unknown opens the door to transformation. When you step beyond the boundaries of comfort, you unlock new abilities and potential that you never knew existed. Think of the unknown as a vast sea. Most people cling to the shore because it feels safe, but in reality, staying in one place guarantees nothing but mediocrity. The fear of the unknown often stems from the fear of failure, loss, or embarrassment. The Stoics remind us that the only real failure is refusing to act at all. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare that they are difficult." To embrace the unknown, begin by reframing uncertainty as opportunity. Every time you face a new challenge, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Who can I become because of this experience? It might be a new job, a difficult conversation, or pursuing a dream that feels impossible. Step into the unknown, knowing that discomfort is temporary, but growth lasts forever. Transformation doesn't happen where it's comfortable. It happens when you dare to explore, fail, adapt, and try again. The unknown holds your greatest possibilities. Embrace it, and you will discover a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. 22. Take responsibility for your role in the world. Responsibility is one of the core pillars of Stoicism. When you take responsibility for your role in the world, your actions, decisions, and impact, you reclaim your power. Blame and excuses might feel easier, but they only keep you powerless and stagnant. True freedom and transformation begin when you say, "I will take ownership of this." You may not be responsible for everything that happens to you, but you are responsible for how you respond. Marcus Aurelius taught, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. By taking responsibility, you move from being a passive victim of circumstances to an active creator of your life. Start small. Ask yourself, what can I do today to make my world a little better? Maybe it's being more present for your family, improving your work ethic, or stepping up in your community. Your actions ripple outward. When you take responsibility, you inspire others to do the same. Taking responsibility is not a burden. It's an opportunity to create a meaningful life. The world needs people who step up, not just for themselves, but for others. Take ownership of your role in the world, and you will discover the immense power you have to shape it. 23. Develop skills. Through repetition and hard work. Mastery is not a gift. It is the result of deliberate effort, repetition, and hard work. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, the Stoics remind us that true progress comes from consistent practice and discipline. Epictetus said, "The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it." Repetition is the foundation of skill building. Whether you're learning a new language, improving your fitness, or mastering a profession, you must show up consistently. There will be days when progress feels invisible, but that is where perseverance matters most. Hard work creates habits, and habits create results. The key to mastery is intentionality. Don't just repeat mindlessly, focus on improving a little each time. Break your goal into smaller steps and approach each with full effort. Ask yourself, how can I get better today? Over time, those small gains compound into monumental progress. Hard work is the antidote to mediocrity. It's also the great equalizer. Talent might give someone a head start, but discipline and effort will always close the gap. When you commit to honing your skills through repetition, you build competence, confidence, and resilience. Remember, excellence is earned, not given. Work hard, stay focused, and trust the process. In time, you will look back and realize that your dedication has turned you into a master of your craft. 24. Avoid playing the victim. Life is not fair. The Stoics acknowledged this hard truth, but they also believed that you should never let unfairness define you. When you play the victim, blaming others, circumstances, or bad luck, you give up your power to change. Instead, take ownership of your life, no matter how unfair the situation might be. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, refused to see himself as a victim. He taught, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." No matter what happens to you, your mind remains your own. You decide whether to let adversity break you or strengthen you. Avoiding the victim mentality requires self-awareness. When you catch yourself saying, "This isn't fair," or "I can't do anything about this," pause. Ask yourself, what can I control? How can I respond to this challenge in a way that makes me stronger? Shifting your focus from blame to action transforms your mindset and your life. Playing the victim might win temporary sympathy, but it destroys long-term growth. When you choose accountability over excuses, you reclaim control over your destiny. Life will test you, but you are never powerless. Rise above victimhood and become the hero of your story. 25. Meaning emerges from harmonious action. Meaning doesn't come from aimless wandering. It emerges when your actions align with your values, goals, and principles. The Stoics taught that to live a fulfilled life, you must pursue harmony between your thoughts, words, and deeds. This alignment creates a sense of purpose that sustains you through life's challenges. Harmonious action means living with integrity. If you value honesty, act truthfully. If you value growth, take steps to challenge yourself daily. It's about ensuring that what you say you believe matches what you do. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to act in accordance with virtue, asking, "Is this action necessary? Does it serve my purpose?" When you live in harmony, life feels meaningful because you're not battling internal contradictions. There's no guilt or regret from saying one thing but doing another. Instead, there's clarity, focus, and peace. You know your actions matter because they're contributing to something bigger than yourself. Ask yourself, are my actions aligned with my values? What changes do I need to make to bring harmony to my life? When you act with integrity and purpose, meaning emerges naturally. It becomes the compass that guides you, ensuring that every step you take is a step toward a life you're proud to live. 26. Courage and honesty are essential. Courage and honesty are twin virtues that unlock the path to a meaningful life. The Stoics believed that without courage, you cannot face life's challenges, and without honesty, you cannot face yourself. It takes courage to speak the truth, admit your mistakes, and act despite fear. It is far easier to hide behind lies or avoid difficult situations, but doing so only weakens you. Honesty begins with self-reflection. You must be willing to look at your life and ask, am I living truthfully? Am I avoiding necessary action because I'm afraid? The moment you lie to yourself, whether by ignoring your flaws, blaming others, or making excuses, you sabotage your growth. Lies distort reality, making it impossible to adapt and improve. Courage, on the other hand, is the antidote to fear. It doesn't mean the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. Marcus Aurelius taught, "The obstacle is the way." Facing fears head-on builds resilience and confidence. When you choose courage over avoidance and truth over deception, you take control of your destiny. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding out of fear? Where am I being dishonest with myself or others? Commit to courage and honesty in your thoughts, words, and actions. These virtues will strengthen your character, earn your trust, and guide you toward a life of integrity and fulfillment. 27. Start small and grow. Every great achievement begins with a single small step. The Stoics understood the value of starting where you are, no matter how insignificant it may feel. Too often, people delay action because their goals seem overwhelming. They think, why bother when I'm so far from where I want to be? But this mindset traps you in inaction. The secret to growth is breaking large goals into smaller, manageable steps. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly. Whether it's mastering a skill, improving your health, or building a career, progress comes from small, consistent actions over time." Instead of focusing on the enormity of the end result, focus on what you can do today. Ask yourself, what's one small thing I can do right now that moves me forward? Maybe it's reading one page of a book, going for a 10-minute walk, or saving a small amount of money. Small steps build momentum. As you take action, your confidence grows, and the steps naturally become bigger. Growth doesn't happen overnight, but with patience and persistence, those tiny actions compound into extraordinary results. Remember, it doesn't matter where you start. What matters is that you begin and you keep moving forward, one step at a time. 28. Time is precious. Use it wisely. Time is the most valuable resource you have. Unlike money or possessions, once time is spent, you can never get it back. The Stoics constantly reminded themselves of the brevity of life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Many people live as if they have endless time, wasting hours on distractions, meaningless activities, or procrastination. But every day you delay pursuing what matters is a day you can't reclaim. The clock is always ticking, and ignoring this truth leads to regret. The question is, are you spending your time on what truly matters? Start by evaluating your priorities. Identify the things that bring value, growth, and meaning to your life: relationships, health, learning, and purpose-driven work. Then cut out the noise, distractions, idle scrolling, or unproductive habits that steal your time. Create a daily plan that balances responsibility, growth, and rest. Treat each day as an opportunity to move closer to your goals and nurture the things that matter most. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Don't waste yours. Live deliberately, act purposefully, and treasure every moment." 29. Avoid stagnation. Dedicate yourself to growth. Stagnation is the silent killer of potential. When you stop growing, you start declining, mentally, physically, and emotionally. The Stoics believed that continuous growth is the key to a fulfilling life. To stagnate is to deny your potential, settle for less, and invite dissatisfaction. Growth doesn't mean radical transformations overnight. It means dedicating yourself to progress, however small, every day. The antidote to stagnation is curiosity, effort, and adaptability. Ask yourself, where am I stuck? What habits, thoughts, or fears are keeping me from moving forward? Recognizing where you've stopped growing is the first step to reigniting momentum. Push yourself to learn new skills, take on challenges, and expand your knowledge. Read books, seek mentors, and step out of your comfort zone. Remember, growth happens through effort and discomfort, not complacency. Seneca taught, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." When you commit to growth, life becomes exciting and meaningful. You're constantly improving, discovering new parts of yourself, and moving toward your highest potential. Avoid stagnation by making growth a lifelong commitment. Never settle for mediocrity when greatness is within your reach. 30. Plan for long-term success. Success is not a result of luck or chance. It's the outcome of deliberate planning, effort, and consistency over time. The Stoics emphasized the importance of thinking beyond the present moment. Life is short, but the impact of your actions can last a lifetime. To create meaningful success, you must plan for the long term. Start by envisioning the life you want to build. What do you want your career, health, relationships, and personal growth to look like in 5, 10, or 30 years? Be specific. Then ask yourself, what steps can I take today to move closer to that vision? Break big dreams into achievable goals and commit to consistent action. Long-term planning requires patience and discipline. There will be setbacks, distractions, and temptations to take shortcuts. But the Stoics remind us that anything worthwhile takes time and effort. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Don't waste time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Stop waiting. Start building." A successful life is the result of countless small, intentional decisions made over time. Focus on progress, not perfection. Trust the process, stay disciplined, and align your actions with your long-term vision. The future belongs to those who plan and act for it today. 31. Face the truth about yourself. True growth begins with the willingness to face the truth about who you are, flaws, strengths, habits, and all. The Stoics taught that self-honesty is the cornerstone of transformation. When you lie to yourself, you build a fragile life based on illusion, which eventually crumbles. Take time to reflect deeply and ask hard questions. What are my weaknesses? Where am I failing to take responsibility? What habits are sabotaging my progress? Facing these truths may be uncomfortable, but it is the only way to reclaim control. Ignoring your faults or blaming others only keeps you stuck in mediocrity. The truth, as painful as it may be, is liberating. Once you identify your shortcomings, you can take actionable steps to address them. If you're lazy, set a disciplined schedule. If you're dishonest, stop lying. If you avoid challenges, face them head-on. The key is not self-condemnation, but self-awareness followed by action. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change." Adopt this mindset. Embrace feedback, seek truth, and improve where you fall short. By facing reality, you empower yourself to become the best version of who you are capable of being. 32. Life is limited. Act now. Life is short, and every day you waste is time you can never get back. The Stoics were deeply aware of mortality, using it as motivation to act with purpose. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short life, but that we waste much of it." Understanding the limits of life pushes you to live intentionally. Many people delay taking action. They say, "I'll do it tomorrow, next year, or when I feel ready." But tomorrow is never guaranteed. Procrastination steals your time, opportunities, and dreams. If there's something you want to do, say, or become, act now. Ask yourself, if I only had a year left, what would I change? What fears or distractions are holding me back? Let this awareness shake you awake, whether it's starting a business, fixing broken relationships, improving your health, or pursuing a passion. Begin today. Take one step, no matter how small. The Stoics called this memento mori. Remember, you will die. Far from being morbid, this realization is empowering. It reminds you to live fully, love deeply, and make the most of each moment. Life's brevity is not a tragedy, but a call to act now, while you still can. 33. Master individual responsibility. Responsibility is the foundation of a meaningful and successful life. The Stoics believed that the quality of your life is determined by how well you take responsibility for yourself, your thoughts, actions, and choices. No one else is responsible for saving you. It's easy to blame others, circumstances, or bad luck for your struggles, but when you do, you give away your power. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You may not control what happens to you, but you always control how you respond. Taking individual responsibility means accepting that your current reality is the result of your past decisions and habits. If your health, finances, or relationships are not where you want them to be, take ownership. Identify what you can change and take action. Waiting for external solutions only leads to frustration. Ask yourself, what areas of my life am I neglecting? Where am I blaming others instead of acting? Start small. Fix what's within reach. Clean your space, manage your time, show up for commitments, and improve one habit at a time. When you master responsibility, you become the architect of your life. Instead of reacting to life, you begin creating it. 34. Don't hide in comfort. Comfort is seductive, but it's also dangerous. When you hide in comfort, you stop growing. The Stoics understood that avoiding discomfort keeps you from becoming your best self. Epictetus taught, "Difficulties are what show men what they are." By staying comfortable, you deny yourself the opportunity to discover your potential. Comfort zones feel safe because they shield you from failure, fear, and pain, but they also trap you in mediocrity. Nothing great happens in comfort. Growth requires challenge, effort, and even suffering. Whether it's building a skill, starting a new career, or confronting your fears, discomfort is the price of transformation. Ask yourself, where am I hiding from discomfort? What opportunities am I missing because I'm playing it safe? Push yourself to take small risks. Speak up in meetings. Start a difficult project. Wake up earlier to pursue a goal. The more you lean into discomfort, the stronger and more capable you become. Hiding in comfort may feel good temporarily, but it comes at the cost of your potential. The greatest rewards, confidence, purpose, and success are found outside your comfort zone. Stop seeking safety and start seeking growth. You are capable of far more than you think, but you'll never know unless you leave the familiar behind. 35. Honesty simplifies life. Honesty is a pillar of the Stoic way of living because lies complicate everything. When you're dishonest, whether with yourself or others, you create chaos. Lies distort reality, break trust, and force you to live in a fragile house of cards. Seneca said, "A good character once lost is not easily recovered." Honesty keeps your character intact and your path clear. Begin by being honest with yourself. Acknowledge your weaknesses, bad habits, and areas where you're avoiding responsibility. Pretending these issues don't exist only prolongs the suffering they cause. When you face them with honesty, you can begin to change. Equally important is being honest with others. Lies may seem convenient in the moment, but they always come back to haunt you. Whether it's avoiding a difficult conversation, breaking promises, or exaggerating for approval, dishonesty complicates relationships and undermines trust. Ask yourself, where am I being dishonest, and why? What am I avoiding by lying? Speak the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. If you can't tell the truth, at least don't lie. Honesty simplifies life. It removes the need for cover-ups, reduces anxiety, and aligns you with reality. When you live truthfully, you free yourself to grow, build trust, and live with integrity. 36. Trust is courageous. Trust is an act of bravery. It requires you to take a leap into the unknown, risking betrayal or disappointment, but also unlocking deeper relationships, personal growth, and collaboration. The Stoics teach that while trust makes you vulnerable, it also allows you to live fully. Without it, you remain isolated, cynical, and afraid. Many people guard themselves from trust, thinking it's safer not to rely on others. But the cost of distrust is high. It keeps you alone and stagnates your progress. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "A person's worth is measured by the worth of what he values." Trust invites the best in others and allows you to build something greater than you could on your own. To trust courageously does not mean being naive. Instead, it means being wise. Recognize that not everyone will honor your trust, but you can still act with integrity. If betrayal comes, it reflects their character, not yours. Trust anyway. Choose carefully who you place your faith in, but don't let fear rob you of connection, growth, or opportunities. Ask yourself, where am I holding back trust? Is fear of betrayal keeping me from meaningful connections? Start by trusting yourself, your instincts, your decisions, and your ability to handle setbacks. By trusting courageously, you open doors to a richer, fuller life. 37. Fear of inaction is greater than fear of failure. Fear can paralyze you, but the Stoics remind us that the fear of not acting should outweigh the fear of failing. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Doing nothing may feel safe in the moment, but inaction guarantees regret, missed opportunities, and a stagnant life. The truth is, failure is inevitable. No path in life is free from mistakes or setbacks, but failure teaches you. It sharpens your skills, reveals your weaknesses, and strengthens your resolve. Inaction, on the other hand, robs you of growth, keeping you trapped in mediocrity. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I fail? And what's the cost of not trying? Visualize both outcomes. Often the consequences of inaction, regret, wasted time, unrealized potential, are far more painful than the sting of failure. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite it. Take small steps, learn as you go, and keep moving. Failure can be corrected, but inaction leaves you powerless. Life rewards those who act boldly. When you begin to fear not trying more than failing, you'll unlock a fearless and purposeful life. 38. Contemplate mortality for motivation. The Stoics often practiced memento mori, remember that you will die. Far from being morbid, this reflection on mortality fuels motivation, clarity, and gratitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Recognizing that time is limited gives life urgency and purpose. Many people live as if they have endless tomorrows, delaying their dreams, avoiding hard decisions, and putting off meaningful work. But time is your most finite resource. Once it's gone, you can never get it back. Contemplating mortality wakes you up to this reality. It reminds you to live fully and make today count. Ask yourself, if I were to die tomorrow, what would I regret? What dreams or actions am I delaying? Let this awareness guide your choices. Start that business. Fix that broken relationship. Pursue your passions. Say what needs to be said. Live as though your time is running out, because it is. Mortality is not a curse. It's a gift. It gives your life meaning by reminding you that every moment matters. Don't waste it. When you embrace the fact that your days are numbered, you'll start living with more courage, focus, and gratitude. 39. Transformation lies in voluntary struggle. Growth and transformation are born from struggle, but it must be voluntary. The Stoics teach that willingly confronting challenges builds character, strength, and resilience. Epictetus said, "Difficulties show men what they are. Therefore, when a difficulty falls upon you, remember that God, like a trainer of wrestlers, has matched you with a tough young man." Life is full of unavoidable suffering. You cannot escape challenges, but you can choose how you approach them. When you take on struggle willingly, whether it's mastering a skill, confronting fears, or breaking destructive habits, you transform into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. Ask yourself, what challenges am I avoiding? Where can I voluntarily push myself to grow? Start small. Take on a physical challenge like a new workout routine, build a new skill, or confront a difficult truth about yourself. By seeking out discomfort, you build the mental toughness needed to face life's inevitable hardships. Voluntary struggle makes you anti-fragile, able to grow stronger through adversity. When challenges come your way, you won't be broken, you'll be prepared. Remember, growth doesn't happen in comfort. Choose your struggles, embrace the effort, and allow the process to refine you into your best self. 40. Avoid willful blindness. One of the greatest dangers in life is willful blindness, the refusal to see or address uncomfortable truths. The Stoics teach that confronting reality, no matter how harsh, is essential for growth. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Ignoring problems doesn't make them go away. It makes them worse. Willful blindness shows up when you refuse to acknowledge your flaws, avoid difficult conversations, or ignore issues in your relationships, health, or career. You may tell yourself, "It's not that bad," or "I'll deal with it later." But denial doesn't solve problems, it magnifies them. Ask yourself, what truths am I avoiding? What problems am I pretending don't exist? Facing reality takes courage, but it's the first step toward change. If your health is deteriorating, address it. If your finances are in chaos, take control. If a relationship is toxic, confront it. Avoiding the truth is like letting a wound fester. Eventually, it becomes far more painful than facing it head-on. The sooner you open your eyes, the sooner you can begin to heal, improve, and grow. Remember, reality cannot be avoided forever. The wise face it willingly, turning even harsh truths into opportunities for transformation. 41. Resentment. Signals. Growth or tyranny. Resentment is a powerful signal. It arises when you feel wronged, overlooked, or trapped by circumstances or people. But the Stoics teach us that resentment is a double-edged sword. It can be a call for growth or a sign of tyranny. Epictetus said, "It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them." This means resentment is less about others and more about your perception and response. First, resentment may signal that you need to grow. Perhaps you're resentful because you haven't stepped up to claim responsibility, assert your boundaries, or face an uncomfortable truth. Ask yourself, is my resentment pointing toward an area where I need to improve or take action? If so, let it push you forward. Use it to fuel growth, build skills, and assert your worth. On the other hand, resentment can stem from tyranny, when someone, or even you, is imposing unfair expectations or restrictions. Perhaps you're in a toxic environment, or maybe you're bitter about life's inherent unfairness. If that's the case, resentment becomes poison. The only antidote is action, confronting the source of tyranny or changing your mindset. The wise don't dwell on resentment. They analyze its source, use it as a compass. If growth is needed, grow. If boundaries must be asserted, act with courage. But don't let resentment fester. It clouds judgment, warps your character, and holds you back from freedom. 42. Confront what frightens you with courage. Fear, when left unchecked, becomes a prison. The Stoics understood that life requires courage, the strength to face what frightens you instead of running from it. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Do not be anxious. The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately." This means courage is not about the absence of fear, but choosing to move forward despite it. The things you fear often carry the key to your growth. Fear highlights where you're weak, untested, or unsure. Whether it's a difficult conversation, a career change, or an unfamiliar challenge, avoiding what frightens you only makes it grow stronger. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding out of fear? What's the cost of not confronting it? Courage is like a muscle. It grows with use. Start by taking small steps toward what you fear. If you're afraid of public speaking, speak up in a meeting. If you fear failure, take one small risk. Each step diminishes fear's hold on you and strengthens your ability to act. Remember, courage doesn't guarantee success, but it guarantees growth. The act of facing fear expands who you are and builds resilience. Let fear become a signal of opportunity, not a barrier. As you confront what frightens you, you'll find that most fears were smaller than they appeared, and you were always stronger than you thought. 43. Life needs a purpose to avoid bitterness. Without purpose, life loses its meaning and bitterness takes root. The Stoics teach us that a life without direction becomes a life of resentment and emptiness. Seneca wisely said, "To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden." But to face misfortune calmly, you must know why you're enduring it. You need purpose. Bitterness often comes from drifting through life aimlessly. You feel like a passenger instead of the driver, resentful of circumstances, others, or even yourself. To combat this, you must intentionally create purpose. Ask yourself, what gives my life meaning? What responsibilities or passions can I commit to that are greater than myself? Purpose does not need to be grand. It can be found in caring for your family, mastering your craft, contributing to your community, or pursuing personal growth. What matters is that it anchors you during life's inevitable storms. Purpose transforms suffering into something meaningful. It becomes a burden worth carrying. Without purpose, challenges feel pointless, and life's hardships seem unfair. But with purpose, even suffering becomes bearable because you see it as part of a larger mission. Define your purpose, no matter how small. Let it guide your actions, decisions, and thoughts. When life has meaning, bitterness has no room to grow. 44. Find meaning that justifies suffering. Suffering is a universal part of life. The Stoics accepted this truth, but offered a way to transcend it. Find meaning so profound that it justifies the suffering. Epictetus said, "Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. When suffering feels senseless, it becomes unbearable, but when tied to purpose, it becomes transformative. Life will challenge you through loss, failure, and uncertainty. Without meaning, these challenges can crush you, leaving you bitter and hopeless. But when you find a reason to endure, suffering becomes a tool for growth. Ask yourself, what purpose makes my struggles worthwhile? What am I willing to suffer for? For a parent, the struggles of raising a child are justified by love. For an athlete, the pain of training is justified by victory. For someone pursuing mastery, years of hardship are justified by achievement. Your suffering becomes noble when it serves a higher aim. Reflect on your pain. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I learn? How can this suffering shape me for the better?" With meaning, every hardship becomes fuel for your growth. Choose a purpose so meaningful that no amount of suffering can break you. When suffering has purpose, you find the strength to endure anything. 45. The light is found in the darkness. The Stoics teach that growth and transformation are found in life's darkest moments. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means the struggles, fears, and pain we try to avoid often hold the very lessons and opportunities we need most. It's easy to fear the darkness in life, times of loss, failure, uncertainty, or grief. But avoiding the darkness means avoiding growth. True strength is forged when you face adversity head-on. Like gold refined in fire, you are shaped and strengthened by your darkest trials. Ask yourself, what difficulties am I avoiding? What can this pain teach me? By facing the darkness, you'll discover resilience, courage, and wisdom that weren't visible before. Pain has a way of stripping away illusions, showing you what truly matters, and revealing your hidden strength. Darkness is not to be feared, it is to be explored. Within it lies the light of transformation, your ability to adapt, overcome, and grow. The Stoics believed that obstacles are opportunities in disguise. When you stop resisting life's darkness and embrace it, you unlock the power to create light within yourself. Lean into your challenges. Face your fears. Let the darkness refine you, not define you. In time, you'll see that the light you sought was always waiting for you in the shadows. 46. Growth comes from facing new challenges. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you face new challenges. The Stoics believed that hardship is the forge of character. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Every challenge you encounter offers an opportunity to evolve into a better version of yourself. When life feels too easy, you aren't growing. Challenges, whether physical, emotional, or mental, push you to break limits and confront your weaknesses. Without them, you remain stagnant, unaware of your potential. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding because it feels uncomfortable? What new challenges can I face to stretch my abilities? Facing challenges doesn't mean you must win every time. The effort alone builds resilience, grit, and wisdom. Every time you tackle something unfamiliar, you sharpen your mind, strengthen your spirit, and gain confidence. Even failure becomes a valuable lesson. It shows you where to improve and reveals strengths you didn't know existed. Consider challenges as opportunities for transformation. If you're afraid of public speaking, speak more. If you've never run a marathon, start training. Growth lies on the other side of your fears. Life will never stop throwing challenges your way, so meet them head-on. Face the discomfort, lean into the struggle, and embrace the growth it brings. When you take on challenges willingly, you move closer to the person you're destined to become. Let every new test refine you, because you're capable of far more than you know. 47. Transform yourself into the ancestral father. The Stoics teach us that a truly virtuous life is one lived with responsibility and strength. Transforming yourself into the ancestral father means becoming the person your descendants would look up to, a source of wisdom, courage, and guidance. Marcus Aurelius embodied this, writing, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." To become this figure of honor, you must willingly shoulder life's burdens and rise to challenges. Picture your future lineage, your children, grandchildren, or even those you mentor. How would they describe you? Would they see someone who avoided responsibility, or would they see a pillar of strength and virtue? Becoming the ancestral father requires sacrifice and discipline. It means leading by example, confronting hardship, and acting with integrity, even when no one is watching. You become the wise guide your loved ones can trust during storms and the role model they strive to emulate. Ask yourself, what values do I want to pass down? What kind of person do I need to become to earn respect across generations? This transformation isn't easy. It demands effort, humility, and moral courage. But the legacy you build will ripple through time, impacting lives far beyond your own. The Stoics believed that life is measured by the impact you have on others. Transform yourself into the ancestral father, someone who stands firm in virtue and wisdom. It's the ultimate form of immortality, where your strength inspires others long after you're gone. 48. Sacrifice is required to get what you truly want. To achieve anything meaningful in life, sacrifice is essential. The Stoics knew this deeply. Seneca said, It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Sacrifice is daring to let go of immediate comfort in pursuit of a greater reward. Most people want success without paying the price. They want health, but won't sacrifice poor habits. They want wealth, but won't forgo mindless spending. They want love, but won't put in the effort to nurture relationships. True transformation happens when you give up something lesser to gain something greater. Identify what you truly want. Ask yourself, what am I willing to sacrifice to achieve this? If you want financial freedom, you may need to sacrifice luxuries today. If you want to master a skill, you must sacrifice time and comfort for discipline. Nothing meaningful comes without trade-offs. Sacrifice is not a loss. It's an investment. Every time you let go of distraction, indulgence, or bad habits, you gain clarity, strength, and progress. The person who sacrifices for their goals becomes someone worthy of achieving them. Reflect on what's holding you back. Is it laziness, distractions, or fear? Choose what matters most and sacrifice what doesn't. The life you want demands effort, discipline, and sacrifice, but the rewards will far outweigh the cost. 49. Eliminate self-sabotaging behaviors. Your greatest enemy often lives within you. Self-sabotage, the habits, thoughts, and behaviors that undermine your progress, can quietly destroy your potential. The Stoics remind us to look inward. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Self-sabotage comes in many forms: procrastination, negative self-talk, toxic habits, or seeking comfort over growth. It happens when fear, insecurity, or laziness lead you away from what you know you should be doing. Ask yourself, what am I doing that's holding me back? Why am I allowing this? The first step to eliminating self-sabotage is awareness. Identify patterns in your life where you repeatedly fail to act in your best interest. Do you start projects but never finish them? Do you seek distractions to avoid discomfort? These behaviors are not accidents, they're choices. Once you identify them, replace self-sabotaging habits with constructive ones. If you procrastinate, take one small action immediately. If negative thoughts creep in, challenge them with evidence of your strengths. If toxic habits consume your time, replace them with purpose-driven activities. Self-sabotage is a war within, but you have the power to win it. The Stoics teach that mastery of the self is the foundation of a meaningful life. Eliminate behaviors that keep you small and take consistent steps toward your goals. You have everything you need to stop holding yourself back. Now, act on it. 50. Take responsibility as the ultimate adventure. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's the ultimate adventure. The Stoics saw life as a journey where every hardship, challenge, and choice shapes your character. Marcus Aurelius encouraged us to face life's demands, writing, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Taking responsibility transforms obstacles into opportunities. When you accept responsibility for yourself, your actions, and your circumstances, you step into a life of meaning. It's easy to blame others, avoid difficult decisions, or hide from life's demands. But this path leads to resentment, stagnation, and purposelessness. Responsibility, on the other hand, awakens your potential and propels you forward. Ask yourself, what challenges am I avoiding? What responsibilities can I take on to improve my life and the lives of those around me? Responsibility isn't about perfection, it's about effort. It's about choosing to act, even when the odds feel insurmountable. When you take responsibility, life becomes an adventure. You build strength by carrying your burdens. You discover purpose by contributing to something bigger than yourself. You grow through every challenge you face and every victory you earn. Responsibility doesn't limit you. It liberates you. Choose to embrace it. Take responsibility for your health, your work, your relationships, and your growth. View life's challenges as opportunities to test yourself. The ultimate adventure begins when you realize you're in control of how you respond to the world. Carry the load with pride. It will lead you to places you never dreamed possible. 51. Pick up the catastrophe of life and carry it. Life is chaotic. It will break your plans, test your strength, and throw you into suffering. But the Stoics teach us that the way forward is not to avoid life's catastrophes, but to carry them with courage and resolve. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not be ashamed of the work you have to do to carry out the task that is yours to perform." The catastrophe of life is inevitable. You will lose loved ones, face failure, and endure hardship. Trying to deny or avoid these realities only makes them harder to bear. Instead, the Stoic path calls you to lift the weight of life willingly. Embrace its burdens and carry them with dignity. By doing so, you grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Start where you are. Take responsibility for what's in front of you, no matter how overwhelming it seems. Focus on one task, one problem, or one burden at a time. Life's chaos may feel like a crushing weight, but every step you take proves you are capable of enduring it. Carrying life's catastrophe is not about despair. It's about transformation. When you shoulder your burdens with courage, you inspire others to do the same. Your suffering becomes meaningful. Your hardships forge your character, and your actions create order in the chaos. The weight of life will not disappear, but as you carry it, you will become strong enough to hold it. Face the catastrophe, pick it up, and keep moving forward. That is how you endure, and that is how you conquer. 52. Narrow yourself. First, then broaden outward. Before you can achieve greatness, you must first focus on mastering one thing. The Stoics teach that discipline and focus are essential for growth. Seneca said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." In a world full of distractions, narrowing yourself to a single pursuit is the key to true progress. Narrowing yourself means identifying one area of your life where you need to improve and committing fully to it. Maybe it's your health, your career, or your relationships. Focus on that single path with discipline and precision until you achieve mastery. It's through this process of narrowing that you gain strength, clarity, and confidence. People often spread themselves too thin, trying to do everything at once. This scattered effort produces mediocre results and frustration. Instead, narrow your focus, make one part of your life exceptional, and then build outward. Mastering one skill or habit teaches you how to tackle bigger challenges. For example, if you want to build a better life, start by creating a simple daily routine. Master that routine. Then, expand to bigger goals, learning a new skill, building a stronger body, or developing your career. Each success builds momentum and gives you the tools to take on more. The Stoic path to greatness is not rushed. Narrow yourself first, master what's in front of you, and then broaden your horizons. It's through focused effort that you gain the strength to transform your entire life. 53. Stay on the thin line of proper living. Life is a constant balancing act. The Stoics believed that virtue lies in walking the thin line, the narrow path between excess and deficiency. Aristotle called this the golden mean, the balance between too much and too little, where virtue and excellence are found. Staying on the thin line means living with awareness and intention. It's avoiding extremes, working hard without burning out, being generous without being taken advantage of, and acting with confidence without becoming arrogant. Life's challenges will try to pull you off balance, but the Stoic mindset helps you stay steady. To walk this thin line, you must listen to your conscience. When you act in alignment with what you know is right, you feel a sense of harmony. But when you stray, through dishonesty, indulgence, or laziness, you feel dissonance. The thin line requires discipline, reflection, and self-control to navigate. Ask yourself, am I living in balance? Am I staying true to what I know is right? Avoid distractions and temptations that throw you off course. The thin line is not easy to follow, but it is where meaning and fulfillment reside. Every day you will be tested. You will face choices that can pull you into chaos, resentment, or excess. The key is to remain aware, reflect often, and choose the path of virtue. Stay on the thin line, and you will live with integrity, strength, and purpose. 54. Be precise in your speech and actions. Precision in speech and action is one of the most powerful tools for creating order in your life. The Stoics believed that clarity in thought and expression reduces chaos and aligns you with reality. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Being precise means saying exactly what you mean and doing exactly what you intend. Many people speak vaguely, make unclear decisions, or act without purpose. This lack of precision creates confusion, wasted effort, and missed opportunities. When you lack clarity, you drift aimlessly through life. Start by identifying what you want. Define your goals, desires, and priorities clearly. Then, act with intention. Every decision and action should move you closer to your ideal outcome. When you speak, choose your words carefully. Words shape your reality. They influence how you think, how others perceive you, and the results you achieve. Precision also helps you confront problems. When something isn't working, pinpoint the exact issue. Don't generalize or avoid it. Define the problem clearly so you can solve it effectively. Vague thinking keeps you stuck. Precise thinking unlocks progress. Practice being deliberate in everything you do. Speak the truth as clearly as possible. Act with purpose, not out of habit or impulse. Precision simplifies your life, reduces uncertainty, and aligns your actions with your goals. Be precise and watch as your life transforms with clarity and focus. 55. Progress happens incrementally. Real lasting progress doesn't happen overnight. It happens incrementally, one small step at a time. The Stoics understood that greatness is built through steady, consistent effort. Seneca wrote, "He who climbs a steep road must go slowly." Progress is about daily actions, not sudden leaps. When you focus on making small improvements every day, you build momentum. Tiny habits, like reading 10 pages, exercising for 15 minutes, or saving a small amount of money, compound over time into massive results. The key is consistency, not perfection. Many people give up because they aim for immediate results, But the Stoics remind us that true change requires patience and discipline. Every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. Even when progress feels slow, trust the process. As long as you are moving forward, you are winning. If a task feels overwhelming, break it into smaller parts. Instead of saying, "I need to write a book," say, "I will write 1 page today." Instead of thinking, "I need to lose 50 pounds, say, "I will go for a 20-minute walk." These small actions are manageable, and they build confidence as you complete them. Progress is a journey, not a destination. Focus on daily effort, no matter how small. Celebrate the wins along the way, and trust that, with time, your consistent actions will create extraordinary results. Incremental improvement is how you climb mountains, change your life, and achieve greatness. 56. Play the hand you're dealt as best you can. Life is unpredictable and unfair, but the Stoics teach us that we don't control the cards we're dealt, only how we play them. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The circumstances of your life may be difficult, but your attitude and actions determine your outcome. Playing the hand you're dealt means accepting reality. Maybe you weren't born into wealth. Maybe you experienced a tragedy. Or perhaps life has handed you challenge after challenge. Complaining about your lot in life changes nothing. Instead, the Stoic approach demands you ask, "What can I do with what I have?" Adversity often reveals hidden strengths. Those who embrace their challenges with resilience and ingenuity can achieve greatness. History is full of people who turned limitations into opportunities. A person born poor who built an empire, or someone injured who inspired millions through perseverance. Your circumstances are not your destiny. Your response is. This mindset frees you from the victim mentality. You stop blaming external factors and take ownership of your choices. Your hand might not be perfect, but you have the power to make the most of it. Start where you are, focus on what you can control, and act decisively. Life rarely deals anyone a perfect hand. Those who succeed are the ones who refuse to fold. They adapt, overcome, and make the most of their situation. Your strength lies in your ability to play the hand you're dealt as best you can. That's where growth begins, and where you rewrite your story. 57. You are more than you think you are. You have within you untapped potential, strengths, talents, and resilience you haven't yet discovered. The Stoics believed that growth comes from voluntarily facing challenges and pushing your limits. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if you will ever dig." Too often we underestimate ourselves. We look at our current struggles and think, "This is all I am," but you are capable of far more than you realize. You won't discover your potential by staying comfortable. You must confront adversity, take risks, and rise to challenges. It's in these moments of effort and struggle that your true strength is revealed. Think back to a time when you faced a seemingly insurmountable problem, something you thought you couldn't endure. Yet, you made it through. That moment proved you are stronger than you thought. Every time you push past your perceived limits, you grow. You become someone who can handle more, achieve more, and inspire others. To tap into this hidden potential, start small. Set challenges that push you just beyond your comfort zone. Run a little farther, learn a little more, or speak up when it's uncomfortable. Each success builds confidence and reveals a new layer of who you are. The Stoics teach that humans are not fixed beings. We are capable of transformation, growth, and becoming extraordinary. You are not just who you are today, you are also who you could be tomorrow if you have the courage to take action. Remember, you are more than you think you are. 58. Happiness is secondary to living responsibly. The pursuit of happiness often leads to frustration because happiness is fleeting. The Stoics understood that a meaningful life does not come from chasing pleasure. It comes from living responsibly, with purpose and integrity. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more. That is poor." Happiness cannot be pursued directly. It emerges as a byproduct of living well. When you act with responsibility, fulfilling your duties, serving others, and aligning your actions with your values, you experience a deeper satisfaction that no fleeting pleasure can match. This is the foundation of true fulfillment. Living responsibly means showing up every day for the people and tasks that matter. It means taking care of your health, your family, your work, and your community. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's inconvenient or difficult. You may not feel happy in every moment, but you will feel grounded and proud of who you are. When you prioritize responsibility, happiness follows in its own way. A job well done, a promise kept, or a hard-fought challenge overcome brings a sense of pride and meaning. These are the moments that fill life with purpose. Don't confuse happiness with pleasure or comfort. Living responsibly may demand sacrifice, discipline, and effort, but it gives you something far greater than fleeting joy. It gives you a life worth living. 59. Aim high and get your act together. The Stoics teach us to aim for something greater, to set our sights on a noble ideal and work relentlessly toward it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The path to greatness begins with clear goals and the commitment to get your act together. Too many people drift through life without direction. They lack goals, waste time, and wonder why they feel unfulfilled. Aiming high gives your life structure, purpose, and energy. It pulls you forward, helping you focus on what truly matters. But ambition alone isn't enough. You must also take responsibility for where you are right now. Start by identifying what getting your act together means for you. Maybe it's improving your health, fixing your finances, or developing better habits. Break these goals into small, achievable actions and tackle them one at a time. As you progress, you'll build discipline, confidence, and momentum. The Stoic path reminds you that life is short. Don't squander it by waiting for the perfect moment. Set ambitious goals, take action, and hold yourself to a higher standard. When you aim high and strive to become your best self, you inspire others to do the same. Greatness doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of clear goals and consistent effort. Aim high, get your act together, and watch as your life transforms. 60. Truth aligns you with reality. The Stoics believed that living truthfully is essential for a fulfilling and meaningful life. Lies, whether to yourself or others, warp your perception of reality and lead to chaos. Epictetus advised, "The soul is like a bowl of water. If it's disturbed, it loses its clarity." Truth is what brings clarity to your life. Aligning yourself with truth begins with honesty. Speak the truth, even when it's difficult. Admit your mistakes, acknowledge your weaknesses, and confront the uncomfortable truths about your life. This can be painful, but it is the first step toward growth. You cannot solve a problem if you refuse to see it. Lies create a false reality. When you lie to yourself, you avoid problems and drift further from your goals. When you lie to others, you damage trust and relationships. Over time, dishonesty creates chaos, confusion, failure, and regret. Living in truth, however, aligns you with reality. It simplifies your life, strengthens your relationships, and allows you to face challenges head-on. The truth is often uncomfortable, but it sets you free. It reveals what needs to change, what's worth fighting for, and where you need to grow. Don't hide from it. Embrace it. Align yourself with truth, and your path becomes clearer. You'll make better decisions, build stronger connections, and live with integrity. Truth is not just a virtue, it's a tool for mastering life. Speak it, live it, align with it. 61. Face catastrophe with moral virtue. Life is unpredictable, and catastrophe can strike without warning: loss, failure, illness, or tragedy. In these moments, your character is tested. The Stoics teach us that the most powerful response to catastrophe is moral virtue. Acting with courage, integrity, and wisdom, no matter how dire the circumstances. Marcus Aurelius faced war, plague, and political betrayal during his reign. Yet he wrote, "Waste no time on what you cannot change. Instead, act justly, speak truthfully, and endure with courage." This is the essence of moral virtue, focusing on what you can control, your actions, thoughts, and values. When catastrophe strikes, emotions like fear, anger, and despair will naturally arise. But you have a choice. You can let the chaos consume you, or you can anchor yourself in virtue. Ask yourself, what is the right thing to do here? Moral virtue means facing suffering with dignity, helping others when you can, and refusing to descend into bitterness or resentment. Moral virtue also protects you from regret. You may not be able to control the catastrophe itself, but you can control how you respond. Acting with courage and integrity ensures you can look back without shame, knowing you upheld your values when it mattered most. Catastrophe is inevitable in life. Let it reveal your strength, honor, and unwavering commitment to virtue. By choosing this path, you'll not only endure the storm, but emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. 62. Strive for transformation, not defeat. Life's struggles can either break you or transform you. The choice is yours. The Stoics remind us that we are not defined by what happens to us, but by how we respond. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When life feels overwhelming, the instinct is often to give up. Defeat seems easier than facing the pain. But the Stoics teach that within every struggle lies an opportunity for transformation. Challenges can be the fire that tempers you, the catalyst that forces you to evolve into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Transformation requires a shift in mindset. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this? How can this make me better?" Whether it's failure, loss, or hardship, every difficulty contains a lesson or a path to growth. The challenge is to recognize it and act upon it. Defeat is final only if you let it be. The key is persistence, taking small steps forward even when it feels impossible. Resilience is built by enduring discomfort and continuing to move in the direction of growth. You may not have control over your circumstances, but you always have control over your response. Life is full of trials, but within them lies the potential for transformation. Strive to become better, not bitter. Let hardship shape you into the person you were meant to be. This is where your true strength and potential are revealed. 63. Bitterness has no utility. Bitterness is a poison that destroys you from within. When life is unfair or people betray you, it's tempting to hold on to resentment. But the Stoics warn us, bitterness has no utility. It doesn't solve problems, heal wounds, or bring justice. It only drags you further into suffering. Seneca wrote, "How much better to heal a wrong than to avenge one." Bitterness arises when you focus on what you cannot change, past wrongs, other people's behavior, or life's inherent unfairness. The more you cling to it, the more you hurt yourself. It's like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. The solution: let go of bitterness and focus on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and future. When someone wrongs you, use it as an opportunity to grow. Did it reveal a boundary you need to enforce? Did it teach you who you can trust? Did it show you areas where you need to develop strength? Forgiveness, too, is not about excusing someone else. It's about freeing yourself. Bitterness chains you to the past, while letting go allows you to move forward with clarity and purpose. Life is challenging enough without the added burden of resentment. Focus on living well, aligning with your values, and becoming stronger through adversity. Bitterness solves nothing. Let it go, and you'll reclaim your energy, peace, and ability to shape a better future. 64. Courage means trusting others, despite risk. Trusting others can feel like a risk. After all, people can betray, disappoint, or hurt you. But the Stoics teach us that courage is not just physical bravery. It is also the willingness to extend trust, knowing that it's essential for growth, connection, and progress. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." Despite this reality, he still believed in acting with kindness and trustworthiness. Trust is not about expecting perfection from others. It's about choosing to believe in their capacity for good while understanding the risk of disappointment. Without trust, life becomes small and isolated. You close yourself off from relationships, opportunities, and meaningful collaboration. Trusting others requires courage because it makes you vulnerable. But vulnerability is also where growth and connection happen. The key is to trust wisely. Be discerning in whom you extend trust to, and don't be naive. However, don't let the fear of betrayal prevent you from building meaningful relationships. If trust is broken, learn from it, but don't let it harden your heart. The alternative, living in constant suspicion, is far more damaging. True courage lies in trusting others, even when there's risk involved. By doing so, you open the door to deeper connections, shared success, and the possibility of building something greater than yourself. 65. Take responsibility for your immediate world. The Stoics teach that if you want to change the world, you must first take responsibility for your immediate surroundings. Your life, home, relationships, and work are within your sphere of control. Start there. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Taking responsibility means accepting that no one else will fix your problems, clean up your mess, or make your life better. It's up to you. Begin with yourself. Are you living in alignment with your values? Are there habits you need to change, or tasks you've been avoiding? Take ownership of your actions, thoughts, and decisions. If your life is chaotic, bring order to it, one step at a time. Next, look outward. Your home, work, and relationships reflect your level of responsibility. Is there something you can improve? Maybe it's as simple as tidying your space, addressing a conflict, or helping someone in need. Small acts of responsibility ripple outward, improving not just your life, but the lives of those around you. Taking responsibility empowers you. It shifts you from victim to leader, from passive to active. You realize that while you can't control everything, you can control how you show up in your immediate world. And that matters, because small changes compound over time, creating a life of purpose, growth, and impact. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's an opportunity. Start where you are. Take ownership, and watch as your world transforms, one action at a time. 66. Real growth comes through challenges. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you're stretched, tested, and forced to confront what feels overwhelming. The Stoics teach us that challenges are not obstacles, they are opportunities for transformation. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When life challenges you, it exposes your weaknesses and your strengths. Maybe you feel overwhelmed by a difficult job, a strained relationship, or a personal failure. Instead of shrinking back, ask, "What can I learn from this? How can this make me better?" Growth is not about avoiding pain or discomfort. It's about facing it with courage and extracting wisdom from the experience. The gym provides the perfect metaphor. Your muscles grow only when pushed to their limits, torn slightly so they can rebuild stronger. Life works the same way. If you only seek comfort and avoid challenges, you stay stagnant, weak, unprepared, and vulnerable. But if you embrace challenges, you discover new levels of resilience, resourcefulness, and strength. Real growth requires discomfort. It's not easy, and it's not meant to be. When you encounter adversity, step into it. Use it as a teacher, a fire that refines you. One day you'll look back and realize the hardest moments were the ones that shaped you the most. 67. Who will you be in a crisis? Who you are in times of peace is one thing. Who you are in times of crisis is what truly defines your character. Crisis reveals the strength or weakness of your values, preparation, and mindset. The Stoics prepared for this reality, knowing that life is unpredictable and hardship is inevitable. When catastrophe strikes, you have a choice. Will you panic, blame others, and crumble under pressure? Or will you rise to the occasion, calm, focused, and dependable? Seneca taught, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." Crisis demands presence of mind. You must resist the temptation to spiral into fear and instead ask, "What is the best action I can take right now?" To prepare for crisis, you must build yourself up beforehand. Develop discipline, strengthen your body, sharpen your mind, and cultivate emotional resilience. When you train yourself in times of calm, you create a reservoir of strengths to draw on when the storm hits. In a crisis, others will look to you. Be the person they can rely on, the one who keeps their head, acts decisively, and finds solutions instead of excuses. Remember, the worst situations have produced history's greatest heroes because they refused to break. Let crisis bring out your courage, leadership, and resolve. Ask yourself today, who will I be when everything falls apart? Commit to becoming someone you can be proud of, someone who stands tall when it matters most. 68. Pursue nobility over comfort. Comfort is easy, but it's also deceptive. It whispers that you've done enough, that you don't need to strive any further. Yet the Stoics remind us that true fulfillment comes not from ease, but from living nobly, pursuing a life of courage, discipline, and responsibility. Epictetus taught, "It is difficulties that show what men are." If you chase comfort alone, avoiding effort, challenge, and responsibility, you may find fleeting pleasure, but you will also find emptiness. A life spent in comfort alone leaves you untested, unfulfilled, and vulnerable when challenges inevitably arise. Nobility, on the other hand, demands effort. It means choosing to do the right thing, even when it's inconvenient or hard. It's choosing growth over stagnation, discipline over laziness, and purpose over pleasure. Comfort may satisfy you today, but nobility builds a foundation for tomorrow. It leaves a legacy you can be proud of. A noble life is one of contribution. It means asking, how can I help others? How can I leave the world better than I found it? This mindset transforms suffering into meaning and challenges into opportunities to build character. You were not made for a life of pure comfort. You were made to strive, to build, and to endure. The nobility of living with purpose will make your struggles worthwhile. It will lift you above mere existence and allow you to truly live. 69. Discipline yourself to avoid chaos. Discipline is the anchor that keeps your life from descending into chaos. The Stoics understood that without discipline, we are at the mercy of our impulses, emotions, and external circumstances. Seneca warned, "No man is free who is not master of himself." At its core, discipline is the practice of doing what is necessary, not just what feels good in the moment. It's waking up early to work toward your goals, even when you'd rather stay in bed. It's choosing a healthy meal over junk food, saving money instead of spending it recklessly, and keeping your word when it would be easier to break it. Without discipline, life becomes chaotic. You procrastinate on your goals, neglect your health, and allow distractions to pull you in every direction. Small problems snowball into crises because you didn't take control early. The irony is that avoiding discipline for the sake of comfort only leads to greater suffering down the road. Discipline is freedom in disguise. It allows you to create order in your life, to build habits that lead to success, and to act with intention instead of reacting impulsively. The more disciplined you become, the stronger you are when life tests you. Start small. Develop one disciplined habit, whether it's waking up on time, journaling daily, or exercising regularly. These small victories compound into a life of purpose, clarity, and strength. Discipline isn't punishment. It's the path to becoming the master of your own life. 70. Accept life's suffering to find strength. Suffering is an unavoidable part of life. The Stoics understood this and taught that instead of running from suffering, you must face it willingly. It is through this acceptance that you find strength, resilience, and meaning. Epictetus said, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are. Therefore, when a difficulty falls upon you, remember that God, like a trainer of wrestlers, has matched you with a rough young man." Life's hardships are not punishments. They are opportunities to grow stronger. Avoiding suffering only prolongs it. When you refuse to face discomfort, you shrink from challenges, allowing problems to worsen. Whether it's emotional pain, physical struggles, or loss, suffering becomes a tool when you meet it head-on. By enduring it, you build endurance. By reflecting on it, you gain wisdom. Think of life's trials as a forge, shaping you into someone more capable and courageous. It is the fire that tempers steel, the storm that strengthens roots. Every moment of suffering you endure willingly makes you more resilient for what lies ahead. When you stop resisting suffering and start embracing it as a teacher, you shift from victim to victor. You begin to see pain as part of a larger purpose, guiding you toward a stronger version of yourself. Accept suffering and let it reveal the warrior within you. 71. Trust your conscience as a guide. Your conscience is the quiet voice within you that knows when you're straying from the path of integrity and purpose. The Stoics believed in aligning your actions with virtue, and your conscience serves as the compass that guides you toward right action. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Trusting your conscience is not always easy. It often requires you to make the hard choice instead of the easy one. It may tell you to walk away from a toxic relationship, refuse a dishonest opportunity, or speak up when silence would be safer. Listening to your conscience often means enduring temporary discomfort for the sake of long-term peace and growth. Ignoring your conscience comes at a price. It will torment you, even if no one else knows what you've done. Lies, betrayals, and cutting corners may seem to bring short-term benefits, but they erode your sense of self. Over time, you lose trust in yourself, and others lose trust in you. To trust your conscience is to live with integrity. It frees you from the anxiety of deception, the weight of regret, and the chaos of a fragmented life. Let it be your guide in moments of doubt, and it will lead you to peace, purpose, and strength. When you honor your conscience, you align yourself with truth, and there is no firmer foundation to build a meaningful life upon. 72. Happiness follows meaningful work. The Stoics understood that happiness is not something to be chased. It is the natural byproduct of a life spent pursuing meaningful work. Seneca wisely said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." We often mistake pleasure and comfort for happiness, but those feelings are fleeting. Real fulfillment comes when you dedicate yourself to something greater than momentary satisfaction. It might be your career, your family, your health, or a cause you care about deeply. When you pour your effort, discipline, and energy into meaningful work, you create value for yourself and others. Meaningful work requires sacrifice and perseverance. It may not always be easy or enjoyable, but the struggle itself makes the achievement worthwhile. A craftsman feels pride not because his work was effortless, but because he overcame the challenge and created something valuable. When you lack purpose, you feel restless, unfulfilled, and empty. You drift through life without direction, seeking shallow distractions to fill the void. But when you commit to meaningful work, even small steps forward bring satisfaction. You wake up each day with a sense of purpose, knowing your actions matter. Ask yourself, what work makes me proud? What contributions bring me fulfillment? Then pursue those things with everything you have. Happiness will follow, not as the goal, but as the reward for a life spent in service to something meaningful. 73. Be honest. Don't manipulate reality. To live a life of integrity and strength, you must be brutally honest with yourself and with the world. Lies and manipulation may offer temporary shortcuts, but they distort reality and erode your soul. As Epictetus said, Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. If you lie to yourself, you are already enslaved. Honesty requires courage. It's tempting to twist the truth to avoid conflict, embarrassment, or short-term pain. We tell ourselves little lies. It's not that bad. I'll fix it later. I'm fine, until those lies become our reality. The problem is that deceit always catches up with you. It complicates your relationships, clouds your judgment, and keeps you stuck in denial. Manipulating reality is an act of weakness. It's avoiding the truth instead of confronting it. When you live dishonestly, you create a fragile foundation that will eventually collapse under its own weight. The Stoics remind us that only by accepting reality as it is can we hope to improve it. Start with yourself. Be honest about your habits, weaknesses, and fears. Acknowledge where you are falling short and take action to change it. Then extend that honesty to others. Speak the truth clearly and respectfully, even when it's hard. People will respect you for it, and more importantly, you will respect yourself. The truth may sting, but lies destroy. Let honesty be your guide, and you will build a life that is solid, strong, and unshakable. 74. Conduct yourself. Ethically to earn trust. Trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship, personal or professional. It cannot be bought, faked, or demanded. It must be earned through ethical conduct, consistency, and integrity. The Stoics emphasized living virtuously, knowing that how you behave reflects who you truly are. People trust those who act ethically because ethics create reliability. If your word matches your actions, others can count on you. They know you will do what's right, not just what's easy or convenient. This trust opens doors, strengthens relationships, and builds reputations that last a lifetime. Conversely, unethical behavior shatters trust. Lying, cheating, or taking shortcuts may bring short-term gains, but those gains are hollow and short-lived. Once trust is broken, it's incredibly difficult, sometimes impossible, to rebuild. You may fool others for a time, but you can never fool yourself. Your conscience will remind you of every betrayal. Conducting yourself ethically doesn't mean being perfect. It means striving to do the right thing, even when no one is watching. If you make a mistake, own it. If you harm someone, apologize sincerely. These actions demonstrate character and humility, qualities that earn respect and deepen trust. In a chaotic world, ethical people stand out. They are the ones others turn to for guidance, leadership, and reliability. Decide today to be that person. Let your actions inspire trust, and you will create a life of enduring value and impact. 75. Set a clear vision for your future. Without a clear vision, you wander through life aimlessly, reacting to whatever comes your way. The Stoics believed in purposeful action, urging us to define our goals and live with intention. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." A clear vision acts as a map. It gives your life direction and meaning, helping you prioritize your time, energy, and resources. It's not enough to say you want to be successful or happy. You must ask, what does success look like? What kind of life do I want to create? Be specific. Define your goals across key areas: health, relationships, career, finances, and personal growth. Once your vision is clear, break it into manageable steps. Small, consistent actions compound over time, turning dreams into reality. The journey will not be linear. Setbacks and detours are part of the process. But with a clear vision, You can adjust your course and keep moving forward. A defined vision also gives you the power to say no to distractions. When you know where you're going, it becomes easier to avoid paths that lead nowhere. You stop drifting through life and start moving toward a future you consciously designed. Set a clear vision today. Write it down. Visualize it daily. Let it guide your decisions and trust the process. With clarity, focus, and action, you can create a life that feels deeply meaningful and fulfilling. 76. Avoid stagnation by constantly improving. Stagnation is the silent killer of progress, purpose, and fulfillment. The Stoics understood that life is never static. You are either moving forward or slipping backward. Marcus Aurelius reminded us to ask each day, "How could I be better? What am I doing to improve?" The moment you stop striving to grow, decay begins. Constant improvement doesn't mean perfection or endless hustle. It means taking small, consistent steps every day toward becoming better than you were yesterday. Whether it's learning a new skill, improving your health, or building stronger relationships, growth must be intentional. Life rewards those who embrace progress, no matter how slow or challenging it may feel. Stagnation breeds discontent. When you refuse to grow, you become stuck in cycles of boredom, frustration, and regret. You lose momentum and purpose. On the other hand, even the smallest progress, mastering a new habit, achieving a minor goal, or overcoming a challenge, reinvigorates your sense of purpose. Improvement requires courage because it forces you to confront your weaknesses. It demands humility because you must admit you're not where you want to be. Start where you are. Identify one area in your life that needs growth and take the first step. Over time, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Life rewards those who keep moving. Avoid stagnation at all costs. Commit to constant growth, and you will not only improve yourself, but inspire others to rise with you. 77. Find balance between openness and order. Life requires a delicate balance between openness to change and the stability of order. Too much openness leads to chaos, while too much order leads to rigidity. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus and Seneca, taught us to walk this fine line, adapting to the flow of life while maintaining a foundation of discipline and structure. Openness represents your ability to grow, explore, and embrace new ideas, experiences, and opportunities. It's what fuels creativity, learning, and adaptability. Without openness, you close yourself off to growth, stuck in outdated habits and thinking. But openness without limits can quickly descend into instability, chaotic living with no purpose or direction. Order, on the other hand, gives life structure and discipline. It allows you to create habits, routines, and systems that make progress achievable. Order helps you manage your responsibilities and brings stability to uncertain situations. However, too much order leads to stagnation, rigidity, and an unwillingness to embrace the new and unknown. The key lies in balance. Ground yourself in routine and responsibility, but remain flexible enough to adapt to life's inevitable changes. If you're overly rigid, challenge yourself to say yes to something new. If your life feels chaotic, establish habits that anchor you. The world is always shifting. Your strength lies in your ability to hold on to order while leaning into openness when needed. This balance creates a life that is both stable and vibrant, disciplined yet ever-evolving, a life worth living. 78. Realize that life requires effort. Life will never hand you what you want without effort. The Stoics understood that human beings are built for action, challenge, and striving. Epictetus said it bluntly, "Nothing great comes into being all at once, nor is it easy." If you want to build a meaningful life, you must embrace the reality that effort is the price of achievement. Effort is the antidote to passivity. Many people wait for life to improve, hoping for luck, opportunity, or someone to save them. But the Stoics knew this was a fool's game. Waiting leads to stagnation, and stagnation leads to despair. Effort, on the other hand, puts you back in control. Even the smallest step forward brings progress, pride, and growth. Effort doesn't mean non-stop grinding or exhausting yourself. It means showing up consistently, doing the work, and accepting that worthwhile things take time. Whether it's improving your health, building a career, or strengthening your relationships, effort is required. There are no shortcuts. It's tempting to choose comfort over effort, but comfort is deceptive. It robs you of the satisfaction that comes from struggle and progress. Life's challenges are not there to break you. They're there to make you stronger, sharper, and more capable. Accept that life requires effort, and you'll find freedom in it. Hard work brings meaning. Struggle builds resilience. In the end, you'll realize the effort was not just worth it. It was the very thing that gave life its value. 79. Responsibility unveils who you are. Taking responsibility is the ultimate test of character. It's where you discover what you're capable of and who you truly are. The Stoics emphasized responsibility not as a burden, but as the key to living a life of purpose and virtue. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Responsibility begins with yourself. Take ownership of your habits, choices, and mindset. Stop blaming others or external circumstances for your situation. By acknowledging your role in your life, you reclaim your power to change it. This shift in perspective transforms you from a passive victim to an active participant in shaping your future. As you take responsibility for yourself, extend it to your family, community, and the world around you. Responsibility reveals your strength because it forces you to confront challenges. It asks you to carry the weight of life's struggles with dignity and courage. The more responsibility you take, the more you grow. Many people fear responsibility because it demands effort and accountability, but avoiding it leads to emptiness and regret. A life without responsibility feels meaningless because it lacks purpose. Responsibility gives your life weight. It connects you to something larger than yourself. If you want to know who you truly are, take responsibility. Carry the heaviest burden you can manage. It will refine you, test you, and ultimately reveal the strength, courage, and potential that lies within you. 80. Effort creates a life worth living. A meaningful life is built through consistent, intentional effort. The Stoics taught that true fulfillment doesn't come from luck or comfort, but from the act of striving. Seneca wisely said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Effort turns time into progress and dreams into reality. Effort is a choice. You can drift through life passively, letting distractions and challenges derail you, or you can actively build the life you want. Every action you take, every moment spent working towards something worthwhile, shapes your character, your abilities, and your future. Avoiding effort may feel easy in the short term, but it leads to long-term dissatisfaction. Without effort, life becomes stagnant and meaningless. You miss out on the joy of achieving goals, overcoming challenges, and becoming someone you're proud of. The act of striving itself, regardless of the outcome, is what gives life richness and purpose. Effort isn't about perfection or non-stop hustle. It's about showing up daily, doing your best, and pushing yourself to grow. Whether it's learning a skill, building a business, or becoming healthier, effort is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. A life worth living is a life you built yourself. Let effort be your guide. Choose growth over comfort, action over passivity, and perseverance over stagnation. When you look back, you'll realize that the struggle, the work, and the effort were what made the journey so meaningful. 81. Recognize the importance of forgetting and forgiving. Life will inevitably hand you disappointments, betrayals, and failures. Holding on to these experiences, replaying them endlessly in your mind, will only weigh you down. The Stoics understood that forgetting and forgiving are not weaknesses, but powerful tools for freedom. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Forgetting does not mean erasing the past. It means letting go of the emotional weight. Your mind must learn to sift through memories, keeping only the lessons and discarding unnecessary suffering. This is the purpose of memory, to guide future actions, not to anchor you to pain. If a past mistake or hurt still brings shame, anxiety, or anger, it's a sign that you haven't fully extracted its wisdom. Write it down, reflect on it, identify the lesson, and let the rest go. Forgiveness works the same way. When someone wrongs you, resentment can fester, poisoning your thoughts and relationships. Forgiving does not mean excusing the act or allowing it to happen again. It means choosing not to be shackled by it. You forgive to set yourself free. Forgetting and forgiving are acts of courage. They allow you to unburden yourself, to make space for growth, joy, and meaning. Refuse to let the past control your future. Learn the lesson, drop the bitterness, and move forward lighter and stronger. 82. Align your life with meaning and responsibility. Living a meaningful life begins with aligning your actions with responsibility. The Stoics remind us that life's ultimate fulfillment comes not from fleeting pleasures, but from living in harmony with what is noble, purposeful, and true. Marcus Aurelius challenged us. Waste no more time on what others do or say. Focus on your own responsibility. Meaning and responsibility go hand in hand. Responsibility is the act of taking ownership of your actions, your decisions, and your role in the world. When you adopt responsibility, you create meaning, because you're consciously shaping your life in a direction that matters. A life without responsibility is a life without weight. It may feel easy, but it lacks depth and purpose. Ask yourself, what am I responsible for? Start with yourself. Are you acting in ways that align with your values? Are you pursuing goals that bring meaning? Extend that responsibility to your family, your work, and your community. Recognize that your actions ripple outward. When you live responsibly, life begins to make sense. Challenges become opportunities to rise, suffering gains purpose, and success feels earned. Responsibility aligns your life with meaning because it demands integrity, discipline, and purpose-driven action. Meaning doesn't arrive, it is built. Live as though your life matters, because it does. Take responsibility, carry it with courage, and you'll find that meaning will illuminate even the darkest moments. 83. Your personality shapes your world. How you perceive and interact with the world is largely determined by your personality. The Stoics understood that we don't see the world as it is. We see it through the lens of who we are. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Knowing yourself is essential for shaping a life that aligns with your strengths and values. Are you extroverted or introverted? Do you seek novelty or prefer stability? Are you agreeable or do you thrive in competition? Understanding your personality gives you the power to shape your environment and goals accordingly. If you're an introvert, you'll find fulfillment in solitude, creativity, and deep relationships. If you're extroverted, you'll flourish in dynamic, social settings that energize you. The world doesn't change to suit your personality. You must align your life to your nature. If you ignore this, you'll experience frustration and dissatisfaction. An introvert forced into constant social interaction will feel drained. A highly organized person surrounded by chaos will feel overwhelmed. Self-awareness is your superpower. Pay attention to what energizes you and what drains you. Notice your natural strengths and weaknesses, then design a life that complements them. Your personality is not an excuse, it's a compass. Understand who you are, refine the traits that hold you back, and use your natural inclinations to build a life that reflects your highest potential. The clearer you know yourself, the clearer your path forward becomes. 84. Beauty is a pathway to meaning. The Stoics often spoke of virtue and discipline, but they also recognized the importance of beauty as a pathway to meaning. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them." Beauty, whether found in nature, art, music, or human connection, grounds us in the sublime and reminds us of life's deeper significance. Beauty is not a luxury, it's a necessity. In a world that can feel chaotic and harsh, beauty offers moments of peace, inspiration, and awe. When you witness a breathtaking sunset, hear a moving piece of music, or admire a work of art, you experience something beyond yourself. It lifts you out of the ordinary and reconnects you with meaning. Beauty also invites you to create. A beautiful life doesn't happen by accident. It's something you build intentionally, whether it's decorating your home, tending a garden, or creating art. Adding beauty to your environment shapes your experience. It's an act of respect, both for yourself and for life itself. If you're overwhelmed by hardship, find beauty as an anchor. Walk in nature. Listen to music. Create something meaningful, no matter how small. Beauty doesn't solve problems, but it makes life worth living. Recognize that beauty is a doorway to the divine. It connects you to something higher, a reminder that even in suffering, there is light, grace, and wonder to be found. 85. Clean your room and make it beautiful. This simple yet profound lesson speaks to one of the core Stoic principles. Order your immediate world to bring clarity, focus, and peace. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to focus on what is within your control, and your environment is exactly that. A cluttered space often reflects a cluttered mind. Cleaning and beautifying your room is the first step toward bringing order to your life. Cleaning your space is not just about tidiness, it's about reclaiming control. When your surroundings are chaotic, it's harder to focus, think clearly, or feel at peace. Start with the small things. Organize your desk, make your bed, and clear the piles that overwhelm you. With each small act of order, you build momentum. But don't stop there. Make your space beautiful. Beauty transforms your environment from merely functional to inspiring. Add something meaningful: art, plants, colors, or objects that reflect your values. A beautiful space reminds you to rise above mediocrity, to value life's finer details, and to take pride in the world you create. This act ripples outward. When you take responsibility for your immediate environment, you're training yourself to bring order and beauty to larger aspects of your life, your relationships, work, and ambitions. Clean your room. Make it beautiful. You'll realize it's not just about the space. It's about who you become in the process. Someone who values order, respects themselves, and creates beauty in a chaotic world. 86. Success leads to a crisis. Find the next goal. Achieving a long-sought goal can feel like the pinnacle of life, but often it brings a surprising challenge: the success crisis. When you reach a significant milestone, graduating, landing a dream job, or achieving financial success, you may find yourself asking, "What now?" The Stoics remind us that success isn't the end of the journey. It's a call to redefine yourself and aim higher. Marcus Aurelius noted, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Success, counterintuitively, can become an impediment. Without the struggle and focus that once drove you, complacency and purposelessness can creep in. This is why you must always be ready to set the next meaningful goal. After a victory, take time to reflect and celebrate. But don't linger too long. Ask yourself, who am I now? What new heights can I strive for? This continual reorientation keeps you engaged and growing. Success should not be a stopping point, but a launch pad for deeper, more significant pursuits. Growth lies in perpetual striving. Whether it's developing new skills, serving others, or expanding your vision, let success inspire the next adventure. Don't allow achievement to turn into stagnation. Rise again, set your sights higher, and keep moving forward. 87. Resilience is built through challenge and striving. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. The Stoics knew this well. They saw life's challenges not as curses, but as opportunities to strengthen the mind and spirit. Seneca taught, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." It's through challenge and striving that you learn how strong you truly are. When adversity strikes, it's easy to see yourself as a victim, to ask, "Why me?" But resilience begins when you shift your mindset. Instead of resenting hardship, ask, "What can I learn from this? How can this make me better?" Every difficulty you face sharpens your character, tests your patience, and forces you to grow. Resilience is not avoidance of pain. It's the courage to face it head-on. By accepting that suffering is inevitable, you take back control. You begin to see challenges as stepping stones, not barriers. Each time you persevere through a setback, whether personal, professional, or emotional, you build mental fortitude and prepare yourself for bigger challenges. The more you strive and face life willingly, the stronger you become. Striving creates a reservoir of resilience that you can call upon in moments of crisis. Embrace the struggle, rise after every fall, and know that with each challenge, you're shaping yourself into someone unshakable. 88. Focus on what you can control. One of the most powerful Stoic teachings is to focus only on what you can control and let go of what you can't. Epictetus put it simply, We cannot control external events. We can only control how we respond to them. Understanding this truth will transform your life, reducing stress, frustration, and wasted effort. There's so much in life beyond your control. Other people's actions, the economy, the weather, or unexpected setbacks. Focusing on these things only fuels anxiety and helplessness. Instead, shift your energy toward the one thing you can always control: yourself. Your thoughts, actions, words, and decisions are yours to master. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. Refusing to waste energy on the uncontrollable is liberating. It allows you to respond rationally, to stay calm in chaos, and to focus on solutions instead of problems. Focusing on what you can control isn't weakness, it's strength. It doesn't mean you stop caring about others or ignore hardship. It means you stop letting life's unpredictability dominate you. In doing so, you gain peace, clarity, and confidence. In every moment, you control your response. Master that, and you master life itself. 89. Master small steps to overcome fear. Fear can feel overwhelming, paralyzing you and stopping you from acting. But the Stoics taught us that fear is a mountain that can be climbed, one small step at a time. The key to conquering fear is breaking it down into manageable pieces. As Seneca wisely said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. When you're faced with a daunting challenge, it's easy to let your mind spiral into worst-case scenarios. Fear magnifies the task ahead, making it appear insurmountable. But when you take the first small step, you prove to yourself that action is possible. Suddenly, fear begins to shrink. Start with the smallest, least intimidating action. If you fear public speaking, practice saying one sentence out loud to yourself. If you're afraid of starting a new project, commit to brainstorming for just 5 minutes. Small actions build momentum, and each success, no matter how minor, creates confidence. Mastering fear doesn't mean eliminating it. Fear is a natural part of growth. Instead, it's about acting despite the fear, proving that it can't control you. Take small steps, move forward consistently, and the once terrifying challenge will become a path to courage. Fear dissipates, not by waiting for it to vanish, but by walking through it, one step at a time. 90. Don't delay. Important conversations. One of the hardest but most necessary actions in life is having honest, difficult conversations. Whether it's addressing conflict, apologizing, or expressing your needs, delaying these discussions only makes the problem worse. As Marcus Aurelius observed, the truth is simple. Delaying it only magnifies the pain. Why do we delay important conversations? Fear of confrontation, fear of hurting someone, or fear of being vulnerable often hold us back. But avoiding these moments doesn't protect you. It prolongs suffering. Problems left unspoken fester like wounds, growing larger and more complex over time. The longer you wait, the more tension builds. You risk misunderstandings, damaged relationships, and missed opportunities for growth. An unresolved issue rarely fades on its own. It only becomes harder to confront. The Stoic approach is to act with courage and clarity. Speak honestly and calmly, focusing on resolution, not blame. Frame your words with compassion, but don't water down the truth. The conversation may be uncomfortable, but it's often the key to healing and progress. Having important conversations clears the air, fosters trust, and strengthens relationships. it also frees you from the weight of avoidance. Don't carry unnecessary burdens. Say what needs to be said and face life head on. In the long run, the truth always heals more than silence. 91. Invest in skills that align with your nature. The Stoics emphasize the importance of knowing yourself deeply. Epictetus said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." Understanding your natural inclinations, strengths, and temperament allows you to choose the right path and invest in the skills that align with who you truly are. Some people thrive in solitude, others in collaboration. Some are naturally creative and open to novelty, while others excel at structure, order, and discipline. Ignoring your nature leads to frustration and unfulfilled potential. If you're an extrovert who forces yourself into isolation, you will wither. If you're detail-oriented but neglect analytical skills, you'll feel incomplete. To grow, you must identify the abilities that suit your personality and invest deeply in mastering them. Skill building requires consistent practice, effort, and patience. But when these efforts align with your nature, the process feels rewarding, not forced. The key is to combine self-awareness with deliberate action. What are you naturally good at? What inspires you to push further? What skills bring meaning to your life? The Stoics remind us that living virtuously means embracing who you are and enhancing your unique gifts. Mastering skills aligned with your nature allows you to contribute to the world in ways only you can. In doing so, you not only succeed, but also live in harmony with yourself and your purpose. 92. Avoid lies that corrupt your character. The foundation of Stoic wisdom lies in truth. As Epictetus said, "He who lies to himself can be more easily deceived by others." Lies, whether to yourself or to others, corrupt your character, distort reality, and create unnecessary chaos in your life. Avoiding lies is not just a moral choice, but a practical necessity for living virtuously and effectively. Every lie, no matter how small, warps your relationship with the world. When you lie to others, you compromise trust and undermine your integrity. Worse yet, when you lie to yourself, ignoring your flaws, blaming others, or avoiding hard truths, you prevent growth. Self-deception allows bad habits and poor decisions to fester, ensuring long-term suffering. The truth is sometimes painful, but its clarity is liberating. Facing your shortcomings allows you to address them. Speaking truthfully, even when uncomfortable, strengthens your relationships, builds respect, and allows you to navigate life with purpose. Lies might offer short-term relief, but they always come with consequences. Commit to truthfulness, even in the smallest details. When tempted to lie, ask yourself, what is this lie protecting? Is it worth corrupting my character? Living truthfully means living authentically. In truth, you gain power, clarity, and the ability to align yourself fully with reality. 93. Build a life that justifies suffering. Life is filled with inevitable pain and suffering. The Stoics understood this universal truth, but they also believed that suffering could have purpose if your life is meaningful. Marcus Aurelius said, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." The key is to live a life so noble and purposeful that it justifies the hardships you endure. When suffering arises, it's easy to spiral into resentment or despair. However, the question you must ask is not, "Why me?" but instead, "What am I enduring this for?" If your struggles are connected to a meaningful pursuit, whether it's building a family, growing in your career, or contributing to your community, then suffering becomes part of a noble cause. A life without purpose magnifies every hardship, making it feel unbearable. Conversely, when you build a life rooted in responsibility, growth, and meaningful work, suffering transforms into fuel. Each challenge you endure becomes a testament to your strength and character. Building a life that justifies suffering means aiming high, taking responsibility, and living intentionally. It requires asking yourself, what am I willing to suffer for? When your life has meaning, you can endure anything. Hardship doesn't break you. It reinforces your purpose. 94. Don't let fear dictate your future. Fear is a powerful force. It can protect you, but it can also control you. The Stoics taught that allowing fear to dictate your choices leads to stagnation and regret. Seneca noted, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Most fears are mental constructs, not real dangers. Overcoming them is key to living a fulfilled life. When fear controls you, it keeps you small. It stops you from taking risks, speaking up, or pursuing your dreams. You end up avoiding life rather than living it. However, the truth is that fear rarely matches reality. The conversation you dread, the opportunity you hesitate to take, these are often far less painful than the regret of inaction. The Stoic approach to fear is simple but profound. Face it head on. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Visualize the potential failure and then prepare for it. By confronting your fears, you strip them of their power. You realize that failure isn't the end. It's a chance to grow. Fear should not be a decision maker in your life. Instead, let your values, goals, and courage guide you. Take calculated risks, lean into discomfort, and remember, the future is shaped by action, not avoidance. Face fear willingly, and you'll find that your future is brighter than you imagined. 95. Risk is inevitable. Choose the worthwhile risks. Every decision in life involves risk. To avoid risk entirely is to avoid life itself. The Stoics understood this, teaching us to embrace risk wisely rather than run from it. As Epictetus said, a ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what ships are for. Life demands that you step out of your comfort zone and take worthwhile risks. The question is not whether you will face risk, it's which risks you'll choose to take. Playing it safe often carries hidden dangers. Avoiding challenges may feel comfortable now, but it leads to missed opportunities, unfulfilled potential, and long-term regret. Choosing meaningful risks, those that align with your values, goals, and growth, makes life worth living. To decide which risks are worthwhile, ask yourself, what is the cost of inaction? What could I gain if I succeed? What can I learn if I fail? Fear often exaggerates the downside while minimizing the upside. By taking a rational Stoic approach, you realize that most risks are manageable and failure is rarely catastrophic. Risk is the price of growth. Taking that leap, whether in your career, relationships, or personal development, expands your capabilities and teaches resilience. Remember, the greatest risk is often doing nothing at all. Life is short. Make it count by pursuing the risks that matter most. 96. Let go of comfort to find true strength. Comfort is seductive. It lulls us into a false sense of safety and keeps us small. The Stoics taught that the path to strength and growth requires embracing discomfort. Marcus Aurelius stated, "The obstacle is the way," emphasizing that adversity, not comfort, is what shapes us into stronger individuals. True strength comes from leaving behind the easy path and pushing yourself into the unknown. Comfort zones are cages. They feel safe, but they trap you in mediocrity. You can't build resilience, character, or wisdom by avoiding discomfort. Instead, deliberately challenge yourself. Take on difficult tasks, confront your fears, and endure short-term hardship for long-term strength. This doesn't mean seeking unnecessary suffering, but learning to accept and leverage adversity. Go to the gym when it's the last thing you want to do. Have that hard conversation you've been avoiding. Start the project you're terrified of failing. Each time you step out of comfort, you become stronger, more capable, and more confident. By letting go of comfort, you unlock your hidden potential. Growth is uncomfortable, but it's also where life's greatest rewards are found. The more you lean into discomfort, the more you'll discover a version of yourself you never thought possible, one of strength, resilience, and unshakable courage. 97. Be the example. Others need in hard times. When chaos strikes, most people crumble. The Stoics believed that we must prepare to be the calm in the storm, the steady hand others can rely on. As Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In times of crisis, your actions will speak louder than any words. Hard times test everyone, but they also reveal character. While others panic or retreat, you can rise above. Lead with calmness, clarity, and strength. By embodying these qualities, you become an anchor for those around you. This isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up as your best self when others need you most. Think of the times you've looked up to someone who guided you through hardship. Maybe it was a parent, a mentor, or a friend. Their example taught you that resilience, courage, and hope are possible even in the darkest moments. Now, it's your turn to be that person for others. Prepare for life's inevitable challenges. Strengthen your mind, develop your principles, and cultivate the ability to act under pressure. In doing so, you'll not only help others find their way, you'll also discover your own purpose. Being the example isn't just noble, it's transformative. 98. A noble life requires constant striving. The Stoics believed that living a virtuous, noble life is not a one-time decision, but a daily commitment to improvement. As Seneca put it, we are always beginning to live, yet never living. A noble life requires relentless striving, a refusal to settle for mediocrity or complacency. True nobility lies in the effort to live according to your highest values, even when it's hard. It means choosing integrity over convenience, growth over comfort, and responsibility over ease. Each day presents a new opportunity to become a better version of yourself, to overcome flaws, and to contribute to the world in meaningful ways. The journey is not linear. Some days you will stumble, fail, or regress. But striving means you get back up and continue forward. It means holding yourself accountable to your potential and never giving up on the person you are becoming. A noble life demands constant effort, but this striving is also what makes life meaningful. Without it, you stagnate, drift, and lose your sense of purpose. By embracing the challenge of constant improvement, you create a life of virtue, strength, and significance, one that inspires others to strive as well. 99. Focus on the adventure of personal growth. Life, when viewed through the lens of personal growth, becomes an adventure. The Stoics understood that growth is not a destination, but an ongoing journey, a continuous process of learning, striving, and discovering who you can become. As Marcus Aurelius noted, What stands in the way becomes the way. Instead of fearing challenges, approach them as opportunities for growth. Each struggle teaches you something new about yourself, your strengths, your limitations, and your ability to overcome adversity. Life is unpredictable, but personal growth transforms it into an adventure. The setbacks, detours, and obstacles you face all become part of the story you are writing. Adopt the mindset of a lifelong learner. Seek wisdom, embrace feedback, and be open to change. Focus on progress, not perfection. Set goals that challenge you to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient, and celebrate each step forward. The adventure of growth isn't always easy. It requires courage, persistence, and humility. But the rewards are immeasurable: a deeper sense of purpose, a stronger character, and a life that feels truly lived. Life is an adventure if you choose to grow through it, rather than simply survive it. 100. Aim for a life that's worth the struggle. The Stoics understood that life is inherently difficult, but they also believed it can be deeply meaningful. As Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." The goal is not to eliminate struggle, but to live a life so worthwhile that it makes every hardship meaningful. A life worth the struggle is one filled with purpose, growth, and contribution. It's a life where you face adversity head-on, knowing that each challenge refines your character and brings you closer to your potential. When you dedicate yourself to a higher purpose, whether it's family, personal mastery, or service to others, you transform suffering into something noble. This doesn't mean you'll never face pain, failure, or loss. Instead, it means that every hardship will serve a purpose. You'll endure because you know what you're fighting for. A meaningful life requires effort, but the rewards are profound: a sense of fulfillment, a legacy of impact, and the knowledge that your struggles were not in vain. Ask yourself, what kind of life would make this struggle worth it? Define it, strive for it, live it. When your life has meaning, the struggle becomes a path to greatness, and every moment, good or bad, feels worthwhile. Bonus lesson. Lesson 101. Join the Stoic path. Subscribe to our channel for timeless Stoic wisdom, daily motivation, and tools to unlock your true potential. Face challenges with courage, embrace growth, and live a life of strength and purpose. Start your journey. Subscribe now.